Now, it's forbidden to pray nafil other than fard while the sun is rising and while the sun is setting and while the sun in the middle of the sky. The second question, Salah could have named times. Salah could have named times. Which one of the following is? The beginning time, so Zuhr at 12:20. The time from 12:20 to 3:20 today, because Asr is 3:20. The end time is 3:20. So if you don't pray between 12:20 and 3:20, you cannot come and pray it after that. There's nothing called qada, because in the salata kanat ala al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta. Salah had to be done in the time. And the forbidden time, when the salah is salat al-munafiq, when the sun in Asr become too close to the horizon, that become too yellow. So it's forbidden to pray nafil then. And if you missed Asr, be accepted, you've done it, but it's discouraged to do that. Question number 3, which one of the following salah can be delayed? From sunnah to delay salat al-asr, from sunnah to delay salat al-isha. But in Britain, probably from sunnah to delay salat al-asr in the summer, because salat al-asr in the summer is 9 hours gap between Zuhr and Maghrib, so you delay it. So many people actually, when they break congregation, they fix salat al-asr like 7 o'clock. So everybody come from work, get ready, have his meal, whatever, and come to pray. You guarantee more congregation in the mosque. Subhanallah, this is why it's sunnah. And Salatul Isha, you delay it again, because Salatul Isha in the winter here, it could be 5:30, 6 o'clock, or even before that. 4 o'clock is Maghrib, 3:45. Salatul Isha could be 5:30, but you are allowed or expected, and from sunnah to delay it. So we delay it in Salihal until 8 o'clock. So we get more people in the congregation, because they will be easier for them. It's difficult for them to come to congregation. In congregation 5:30. They finish work 5:30. By the time they get to the mosque, the salah finished. And question number 4. The following are exempted from punishment for not praying: the sleeping person until he wakes up or she wakes up, which is difficult now to convince me there's no alarms. There's alarms now. I saw a video which is nice. A rooster come to the house and to the person who is the owner, and he shouts at him to wake up in the morning. Now the person who is asleep, and the next one, the one who lost conscious until he regained consciousness because of operation or head injury or something, and the mentally disturbed, very disturbed. Because people might be mentally ill, have some depression, some anxiety, but they are not mentally disturbed. They could pray. But the one who is really mentally disturbed, you're not expected to expect him to pray on time, and avoid asking him. Avoid asking demented person to pray. Avoid asking psychotic person to pray, because you might end in a fight. We avoid talking to mentally ill about religion. Why is that? In my job as a psychiatrist, we avoid, because if you say to a person, who's very depressed, if you don't pray, if you don't fast, you will go to hell forever and ever and ever. And then he's already thinking of killing himself. What's the point then? He kill himself. So you will go to jail because you incited. One actually tried to make a complaint against me. He went to the admin and he told him that Dr. Ghanam tried to convert me to Islam. And he gave me this book. I never gave him a book. I never spoke to him about Islam. But he heard that I was a Muslim, so he wanted to create trouble for me. So, the staff and my boss and everybody, they know I'm not actually going to talk to I didn't talk to them about Islam, to talk to the patients. So they asked him to get lost and things. Another one, mentally disturbed in Solihull, she phoned my manager and she complained against me because I don't know why she. So they asked her, "Are you a patient of our trust?" She said no. They said, "Get lost then, I'm not going to listen to your complaint. You only complain to us if you are our patient and he is your doctor in the trust. He was dealing with you." So, but mentally ill, avoid, demented, expect him to know that he prayed 4 or 5 rak'ah or 2 rak'ah. Do you think that he still remember Fatiha? Memory gone, knowledge gone. Do you know that he didn't wet himself or she didn't wet herself in the last half an hour or something? He don't. So this is, subhanAllah, Sharia is from Allah Azza wa Jal. So Allah doesn't put you in trouble and give you when not to talk to people. Question number 5. You are not allowed to start praying sunnah if iqamah took place. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا أُقِيمَتِ الصَّلَاةِ فَلَا صَلَاةَ إِلَّا الْمَكْتُوبَةِ. I didn't tell you that, but I thought your general knowledge, you could know it, but none of you, I think, knew it. But the top score was 14 out of 15. So if you entered the mosque and a guy stood up to make iqamah, he's saying, Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah, qad qamat salah, qad qamat salah, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. You can't start sunnah. You have to pray the farad. Unless you already done that farad. If you come to the mosque like 2 o'clock, and you've done your zuhr at 1 o'clock, you went to the mosque at 2 o'clock, and a group of them making iqamah to pray zuhr, you already prayed zuhr, so you just do the sunnah. If you want to do sunnah, tahiyyat al-masjid or anything. So once the iqamah start, refrain from salah. In Salatul Jumu'ah, Friday prayer, you are not expected to start a sunnah if the imam giving khutbah. Once the imam go to the minbar, stand up to give the khutbah, la salata wa la kalam. The Prophet ﷺ said, no salah permitted and no talking permitted. Some scholars said that you could do quick 2 rak'ah sunnah or 2 rak'ah the greeting of the mosque, tahiyyat al-masjid. 2 quick ones, try to be short and things. Majority say no. You just sit down to listen to the khutbah. And question number 6, it was Jibreel alayhi salam who came to teach Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam the timing of the salah, as we said last week. And the time to pray forgotten salah when you remember it. When you remember the salah, that's its time. It's not with the next salah. And try not to delay it. The minute you remember it, if you are in a position to pray, pray. You're driving or flying a plane or something, you're not supposed to leave your job. So that's today we're going to talk about being in Ramadan, beginning of Ramadan. We're going to talk about a few things about Ramadan. But I'm sure you know a lot about Ramadan. I don't need to repeat all the rules and regulations. But I'm going to touch a couple of things. In Ramadan, the Prophet ﷺ said, عور الإسلام وقواعد الدين 3 عليهن أسس الإسلام من ترك واحدة منهن فهو بها كافر حلال الدم. And that's the noise coming. شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله والصلاة المكتوبة وصوم رمضان. I said that 3 things Islam has been built on it. In another hadith 5, which is the most common hadith. But in this hadith, 3 things Islam built on it. شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله, to say لا إله إلا الله, to pray the obliged salah, and to fast Ramadan. Another hadith, Abu Hurairah said that the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever break the fast of 1 day in Ramadan without permission, without a valid excuse, without valid reason, which Allah listed, he cannot compensate even if he fasts the whole of his life. Even if he fasts the whole of his life. So breaking over in one day is not expected. My question is, which you need to answer, why the 5 pillars in Islam justify punishing the person in hellfire? Not to believe in Allah Azza wa Jal is, yes, it's Allah Azza wa Jal, the creator, and he have created another place for you after death to be in, which is Jannah. If you believe in him, you go to Jannah. If you don't, you don't go to Jannah. You don't go to nothing, you go to Jahannam. But he said, just say once in your lifetime, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and you go to Jannah. If you don't say that phrase, you don't go to Jannah. Fair enough. But what about Salah? If you don't pray, you go to Jahannam. Allah Azza wa Jal said, people in Jahannam will be asked, what took you to hellfire, to Saqar? Ma salakakum fi Saqar? They will answer saying, قالوا لم نكن من المصلين. We were not praying. So not praying will take the person to hellfire. And the same was not paying zakah. And الذين يخزنون الذهب والفضة ولا ينفقونها في سبيل الله فبشرهم بعذاب أليم يوم يحمى عليها في نار جهنم فتكوى بها جباههم وجنوبهم وظهورهم هذا ما كسبتم بأنفسكم وذوقوا ما كنتم تكسبون. That's the zakah. If you don't pay it, the gold and silver, which is equal to your money here, will be heated in hellfire and they will be burned. They will burn your foreheads, جباههم وصدورهم وظهورهم, جباههم وجنوبهم وظهورهم, your sides and your back, with heated gold and silver before you go to Jannah or Jahannam. And the same if you don't perform Hajj. You could die as Christian or Jew or atheist if you like. And the same if you don't fast. But why? Why a person who that behavior just, deserve to go to hellfire? Like the one who denied existence of Allah. Why is that? I'm asking you. When I came to Britain, we started Sunday school in Lincoln. And we had an English lady, I don't know whether I think she was still Christian or atheist, I don't know, I never met her. But she married an Iraqi guy, and he sent his daughters to our Sunday school to learn Islam. And after a few weeks, she dropped them out. So I phoned her and I said, why you drop them out? She said, because you said to them there is something called hellfire, and they will go to hellfire to be punished if they don't believe in Allah. So she wants me to drop hell. There's no hell. For a lot of Christians, there's no hell. You go to paradise or you go to nothing. Why that? Why is that? Why they don't want hell? Now, Zaid.
Isn't that in Catholicism they believe in purgatory, and heaven? So because they're like, they don't.
Protestants believe in.
Purgatory.
That's what Protestants believe in.
No, I thought that was Catholicism. Purgatory.
What's that mean?
Purgatory,
It's when you work off your sins, basically.
yeah. So they believe that's a place of purifying and then they go to.
They go back to heaven.
Yeah.
So they go. Oh, that's a new
They
one.
don't
Do we?
believe
They'll be purified and go back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's new modification then.
Yeah.
In my time when I was younger and discussed with a lot of Christians, they were. Some do have
It's the Catholic Church.
hell now. Sorry.
It's a Catholic.
Yeah. Some they were believing there's hell. Some believe there's no hell anymore. And the Baha'i said you will be, the hell will be like you have a nightmare all your life. You are in your sleep, and you're getting nightmares. I don't know where they got that from either. They abolished death penalty in Europe. Why? Why they abolish death penalty? Have you heard of Jimmy Savile? Any of you? Jimmy Savile was a presenter on TV. He had a program called Jim Will Fix It. And he used to get children ask their dreams and they fix it for them. They want to go to Bahama, they want to go to Hawaii, they want to fly aeroplane, they want to go horse riding, whatever, and he fixed it for them. After he died, he was discovered by a lot of children, reported back that he was abusing children. And they were very upset and sad and annoyed because he died before he was punished. So the death penalty, they thought if somebody kills 10 people and he was convicted murderer, they don't apply death penalty, they put them in jail because they want them to be punished. So it could end in jail for 250 years in jail. It would be better for them to execute them, but they don't believe there's punishment next life. So they said they could escape punishment if they are killed, if the death penalty applied. So they want them to be punished before they die. Like when they talked about Muhammad al-Fayed, you know, when the Harrods owner, when employees said he was abusing them, and they were sad because he died last year, or the year before last now, in 2023, so he escaped punishment. In Islam, you don't escape punishment. Allah Azza wa Jalla will bring you back, bring you into account, and He judge your behavior and your belief, and you will be punished or rewarded you. I heard one of the atheists saying that, philosopher, he said, next life, it will be not me, it will be a new person, will be created by Allah. And it's not me. Why He will be punishing that person who did not commit my crime? I want myself to be brought back next life. So what will be your answer? Or do we have an answer in Islam? You die, you turn into dust. That's the end of your body. And your soul, the atheists don't see a soul. They don't see a soul leaving the body. Oh, where's the soul? And sometimes they make films out of a soul coming out of the body. What will be your answer to them? So if you're going to take me next life to hellfire, it wouldn't be me. It will be somebody else you created from new. Like if a car went into a crash and destroyed, Ford Fiesta, let's say, you can't take a new Ford Fiesta just been released by the company and punish that Fiesta, because the Fiesta who hit the person and killed them is that one. So what will be your answer? Amazing, because Islam came from Allah Azza wa Jalla, nothing missing in Islam. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. We didn't leave out anything you need to know about. It's important. We didn't leave it out. And there is quite a lot of hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, not all of you will disappear. There will be part of you, the end of your sacrum bone, that will remain untouched. Neither fire nor elements will destroy it. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, from that piece of you will grow out. This is why we come out of the graves like plants coming out of the grave. Allah will build you up from your own cells, and then will bring the soul to the body. Allah said, وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ. So the body, it's you who were scattered somewhere, we don't know. You died in the sea, you died in the mountain, you died in the desert, you died in Birmingham, whatever. Allah will bring from that piece of you, and bring the soul, and then Allah will punish you. It is you. And you will have all your memory and all your personality there. So you will be punished. But the question, why, if somebody doesn't pray, or doesn't fast, or doesn't pay zakah, he ends being punished in hellfire. What things make him deserve that punishment? Because Islam built on 5 pillars, Allah Azza wa Jalla obviously knows best. The 5 pillars, if practiced in full, it will show that you are really a good person. In a way, you're not going to be a mass murderer. You're not going to be a big thief. You're not going to cheat people. People who come with all sort of aggression and crimes and things, if you look into their day-to-day life, I don't think they will be praying. I don't think they will be fasting. I don't think they will be giving zakah. By the way, collecting your zakah, it's actually, most Muslims collect their zakah, calculate their zakah beginning of Ramadan. I sat yesterday calculating my zakah. You need to go back to the 1st of March 2024 or 10th of March, if because the year, lunar year is 10 days shorter, how much money you had, and you come now, how much money you have now. So did your money increase or decrease? If it increased, you take the amount of money you had last March and give zakah on it. If your money decreased, what do? Your information about zakah on the money you had or the money you have now?
Have now.
You have now. The money you have now. So if you spend the money you had, spend most of it or half of it, there's no zakah on what you spend. If it increases, you give money on this last year. And the increase you might give next year if you keep it. But this year you only give on the money you had last year. So in essence, zakah actually, you give zakah on the disposable money which you are left with untouched for the whole year, which is really fair. We're not asking you to give zakah on the money you earned yesterday, like the tax. Pay as you earn. Because Islam recognizes you have a lot of needs, and then you buy what you want, you spend on what you need, and whatever left over, wait for a year, and then we will take zakah from you. And if in that, all this relaxation, the person is not keen to pay zakah yet, he doesn't care about the poor and the needy, doesn't care about the infrastructure of his country, doesn't care about the education of his country, doesn't care about the needs of the global needs for people, poor and things. And he deserves to be punished for that. He doesn't care about Allah Azza wa Jal. If he doesn't care about praying 5 times a day to meet his Lord who created him, he doesn't believe in him. If he doesn't believe in him, okay, my club is for those who believe in me. So Allah Azza wa Jal has his club. If you enter the club, to be accepted by that club, you need to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, pray 5 times, fast Ramadan, pay zakah, go to Hajj. You are guaranteed a place in Jannah. If he doesn't, then his original belief might be non-existence. If he doesn't want to pray, it means that, I don't care about where is God, show me God, I will pray for him. You're not going to see God. Because God is not made of atoms you can see. He's not made full stop. He's always there, creating things. So when you don't fast one day deliberately, it will not be for you. You cannot compensate if you fast the whole life. And the same if he doesn't pay zakah, might not have the belief in Allah, or at least not correct belief in Allah. If he doesn't want to go to Hajj and he has the money and he has the means, then he probably doesn't believe in Allah. I met people who don't want to go to Hajj. So how could I say that you are a believer? My belief in Hajj, that you are obliged to go to Hajj the minute you have enough money and it is safe and you are healthy. And that was, I had that when I had my first job in the hospital after I finished my medical school. I started earning money, I went to Hajj. I was single, I wasn't married. And I took my mom with me, and my auntie went with us. So I said that to my children and said that to my congregation, that the minute you have had a job which can provide you with enough money to cover for Hajj cost. The Hajj cost now is really climbing so high because of people trying to make money out of the Hajjaj. When I went to Hajj, that good experience for you, but you might not be able to do it. When I went to Hajj, it was £5,000 the cost of a decent Hajj. And it cost me only 850. So I went to Hajj with 850 pounds. How did I do it? Not by my skills, but my wife wants to go to Hajj, and I did my Hajj, so I didn't need to go. I said to my wife, you go with one of your children to Hajj. But then she was really keen to go, her children still years to, become adult enough. So I was on the computer and I booked to Hajj on the British Airways for £600 return. And I needed the visa, so I went to a shop in Small Heath, and he booked me the visa and the cost of the transport in Mecca and to Medina and back, £250. So, and 850 my wife. We went to the airport on Wednesday. British Airways said, oh, we can't take you. I said, why? They said, because you can't change plane inside Saudi, because it was supposed to be London, Riyadh, and Jeddah, and back. They said, we can't drop you in Riyadh to change the plane. I said, what? They said, it's banned. The Saudi will not allow it. And they will fine us £10,000 for every passenger. So on Wednesday, we came back home. We couldn't go. They said, come back and we'll change your ticket to go from London to Jeddah and back. They changed the ticket to Sunday. Said, come on Sunday, we will take you to Jeddah. So we went on Sunday. We lost 5 days now. We were supposed to go to Medina. But we went on Sunday. They said, no, we can't take you. I said, why? They said, Saturday was the last day we are allowed to take people to Hajj on our planes. And you can't go to yesterday. You need to go today or tomorrow. So what can we do? What can we do in recession? They said, it's still the Saudi airline taking people on Sunday. Saudi airline. So I said, okay, change our tickets to Saudi airline. And they changed them. And we went to Saudi airline. They said, oh no, we can't. We're supposed to go from 25th of January to, I think it was 4th of February. We can only bring you back on 24th of February. I said, I can't because I have to go back to work after the Hajj. And then the British Airways said, go with them, we will bring you back on the 4th. Don't listen to them. Just go with them on the Saudi airline, and we'll bring you back from Jeddah. And we went, we did the Hajj, and we went back to the airport on the 4th, and the British Airways brought us back here. But what we ended only paying what we should have paid, because the £250 covered the visa cost and the transport. They took us from Jeddah to Mecca and back, and they're supposed to take us also from Mecca to Medina and back, and they gave us tent to stay in during Hajj. You don't need hotel unless you want to stay a bit more days. So we discovered that they were Like the other Hajjis were paying nearly £4,150 for staying 3 nights in a hotel or something. For what? They're just robbing people in a way. Now the cost is now 20,000 or something. 10,000. My son went last year for 12,000 or something. Most of it is profit now. But when you have the means, if you don't go, because I don't believe in Hajj, probably you don't believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. So when it goes to fasting, probably you don't believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. When it comes to Salah, if it doesn't pray, probably he doesn't believe in Allah. How would you accept that you careless about Salah while Allah Azza wa Jal watching you? He's seeing you. He knows you're not caring about his orders. You don't want to meet him. You don't want to talk to him. You talk to Allah Azza wa Jal and you pray, and you sit with Allah Azza wa Jal when you remember him, because he will remember you. So this is why the 5 pillars carries your belief. If any of them missing, you might spend some time in hell. If all of them missing, then you're not Muslim. Because say La ilaha illallah is just something you say. We don't know what your heart believes. Do you truly believe La ilaha illallah? Once you take the belief in Allah Azza wa Jal, subhanAllah, people become careless about many things. Have you seen the discussion between Donald Trump and Zelensky? How awful it was. He wasn't considering this person has any value. He just was overpowering, aggressive, and careless. And then they accused them of something he never said. He said, when you are in a war, you might have some feeling. You might, if you go the same, you will have the same feeling. Oh, don't tell us what we will feel. I'm not telling you. I'm just giving you an example. And the poor guy, sitting there, he was good enough to dare to challenge Donald Trump and his vice president. And sometimes you feel that it should be held, really. Some people should not escape punishment. If you go and think about this Netanyahu now, how many Gaza people he killed, how many houses he destroyed, how many families many families lost all their members but one, or sometimes none. Think about Hitler, how many people he killed, how many people he burned in the Gaza chamber, how many people. So should he escape punishment? No, there should be hell, and there is hell. So some people who don't believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, they might not have even the care for their own children. We hear like every day people who abuse their own children, their own mom and dad, their own family. They abuse the poor, the needy. And then the minute a person converts to Islam, after 5 minutes he will say, oh, Palestinians should go back to their homeland. Israelis should give them their own land and things. He straight away starts accepting justice. Why he didn't accept justice before? Why he didn't go on demonstrations to ask people to give, the Kashmiri their land and the Palestinian their land, and oppress people in China and free them from the prisons and things? Because if you don't believe in Allah, you don't care about anybody else but yourself. So this is about not fasting. There could be punishment, because Allah knows best about what's in your heart about Him. Do you truly believe in Him, and do you actually respect His orders and do what He wants, because He knows what's best for you? And if you the fast, I myself see it as a treatment to the whole community. The whole community become like more humble, more caring, more kind. They meet more often. The family meets on a meal, on the dinner table. Probably before Ramadan, they might be everywhere. Some have his lunch at 6 o'clock, some have his lunch at 8 o'clock, some have his lunch outside the house. And Ramadan bring them all together. Then Ramadan deprive you from food and drink, and that seems to benefit your own spirit, your mood improve, your attitude becomes, sharp, and you're happier end of Ramadan, like if you are winning, something really famous. The other point I want to mention about Ramadan, I mentioned it before, because a lot of people have difficulty knowing how to prove Ramadan started, and that caused trouble. Like, when my grandson was saying that in the school, they told him, "Oh, you missed one day in Ramadan." Now the moon was born. Why we say the moon born? Just usually the moon, the end of the month, sits before the sun. So you have the sun and the moon disappear below the horizon, before the sun. Now that's on day like 27 of Shaban. And then on day, what was it here, 28 of Shaban. On day 29 of Shaban, the sun set first, and the moon sit next to the sun, after the sun. If the moon stays in the horizon for more than 10 minutes or more, we say that the moon crossed the sun. We need another line in between. So I was right here saying 27. So you have the moon sat before the sun, and then you have here the day 29, 28, the moon across the sun. They will be both in the horizon. The moon crosses the sun. And then day 29, the sun sits before the moon. So here, the moon and the sun will be sitting together. You can't see any moon. On day 29, the sun sets and the moon sits after. So the crossing of the moon in front of the sun, called the moon was born, the birth of the new moon. It was the moon set first, then the sun, and nothing we can see. Then the moon and the sun sit together, and then the sun sit before the moon, and that's the new moon. That's what we see. And that has been calculated for tens of years, and people have a full program knowing when the moon will move and what time. In Islam, if you go to the Sharia, you have the Shafi'i, who said, has two ways to say that Ramadan started. Spot your own crescent, the hilal, you spot it in the horizons, you know the moon is born. Or Ibn al-Shakhtir, which is part of Shafi'i Mazhab, he said, if you have perfect astronomical calculation, you can say the moon is born without seeing the moon from calculation. Hanafi and Maliki and Hanbali, they said, if anyone across the globe saw the new moon, all of you should fast. If anyone spot the new moon. Could be in India, could be in Los Angeles, could be in London, could be anywhere. The Muslims in Britain, they have the problem. Outside Britain, they still wait for spotting the moon. In Britain, when it comes to spotting the moon, they leave Mazhab Hanafi and they say, no, we have to spot the moon in Birmingham or a country close to Birmingham, like Morocco, Muslim country. They still refuse to take the calculation. In Solihull, We started taking the calculation in 2006, and we were never wrong in any year. Always the moon is spotted somewhere. In 2017, we sent a survey to all the Muslims who come to our congregation. We know them in Solihull, and 76% of them said we would like to follow the calculation. So 76 of them, we follow that branch of Shafi'i, or follow the calculation. And that makes our life easier because we can plan when Ramadan is going to be for the next 50 years, when Eid is going to be for the next 200 years. Because there's programs to tell you when the moon is going to be born. So the moon was born 1:45 on Friday early morning, spotted on Friday, we fasted on Saturday. The next moon will be born 10 to 11 on the 29th of March. So 30th March will be Eid. So this is the way we follow in Solihull, this way. The rest, they mix. They are Hanafi, but they follow Shafi'i and say, oh, we need to spot those. You don't, either you follow the Hanafi or Maliki Hanbali, whoever see the moon in Saudi, in Gulf, in Turkey, you follow them. Or you spot your own moon. It's going to be difficult in Britain, always cloudy. There's always... Or you follow Morocco. Some people are now following Morocco. They started fasting today. We fasted yesterday. So these are the 2 points on fasting I want to mention today. And I need to stamp your book, item number 86. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.